Om Gam Ganapataye Namah. 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 Om Gam Ganapataye Namah.
I offer my loving pranams at the lotus feet of our Lord Bhagwan, Sri Satya Sai Baba. My love to all the women of the world of all ages. A very happy Ladies' Day to one and all. How blessed are we as we celebrate a day chosen by God Himself to remind us of our strength, our patience, our duty, and our unconditional love for all who we serve in our lives. What is the definition of a woman in Bhagwan's eyes? This is what I have learnt through all of his teachings and guidance, and I feel humbled and privileged to share the guidance I received from him with you. A woman represents courage, the courage with which she fights all her inner weaknesses to create joy and happiness for her loved ones. She, in her silence, does the work that no one can imagine, and she asks for no recognition in return. A woman smiles no matter what she faces. She does not give up. Her tears are always for the well-being of another. She seldom prays for herself. Her loved one's safety is her breath, her joy, her peace. A woman strengthens her man. She guides him with her wisdom and wins him his kingdom of dignity and respect. She is the beloved of her children, for every child awakens in her arms and is embraced by her willpower to survive. A woman is not afraid. She thinks clearly in times of distress. She is the one that paves the path to the victory of her loved ones. The wars are fought by the men of brave mothers. Those men that rule remember her strength, her discipline, her devotion, and her sense of duty. With that, they fight the wars of righteousness and bring freedom to those that are enslaved to misery. A woman is the gem of her husband, the loyal hand of her parents, the strength of her brother, and the breath of her children. This is our pledge together today. We will be the daughters that hold our parents' hands right until the end. We will be the sisters that understand our brothers' difficulties and pray for their well-being. We will be the wives that give our breath and ourselves to be with our husbands always by their side, uplifting them in their goals of life and being one in body, mind, and spirit with them. We will be the loving mothers to our children, and we will be their eyes to see this world. We will be their first teachers that teach them the lessons of righteousness, duty, love, and selflessness. We will be their ground upon which they walk. We will be the hearts with which they learn to be with others. We will be their hands with which they serve. We will be the mothers that God chooses to make all His children good and great. We will be the examples of His mission. We cannot make mistakes. We cannot be weak. We cannot cry and break our resolve to reflect God's duty and God's love. We will be leaders wherever we go, whether at home, at work, or serving in the community. We will leave behind a mark of our persistence and an example of our willpower to survive under all conditions. We will be the world's greatest mothers, teachers, leaders, entrepreneurs, and while we do our very best in all our roles, we will carry God's message of love, truth, righteousness, and peace. And we will remain calm and create hope in all circumstances. My dearest sisters, there is no perfect life, but surely the perfect attitude will carry each of us to His lotus feet. We can only celebrate God's birthday if we have woken up from all fears, all desires, and all negativity. It is our right to be strong, free of likes and dislikes, and be positive to first transform ourselves, and while doing it, transform the children of this world and walk hand in hand with our brothers and life partners to fulfill God's mission, the mission of love. Even God Himself took birth. He, by His example, showed His love and gratitude toward His mother. Seeing that, our role must be stronger. Our homes must be the heaven of truth and love. Our relationships must be filled with understanding and limitless giving. We cannot say no to anyone who needs us. We have to overcome all our fears and doubts so we can uphold Bhagwan's faith in us. I hold the hands of all my sisters today as we begin to bring all together and offer to Bhagwan our promise to live this life He taught us to live. Lots and lots of love from the bottom of my heart. And always remember, He is with us, in us, around us, and always with us. With lots and lots and lots of love to each one of you.
Sairam, everyone. We shall start with 3 ohms. Om. 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 My humble pranams at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Respected elders and dear brothers and sisters, Sairam and a warm welcome. Our Mahila Creative Hub session for today is titled Being with God. Our speaker is a Sai sister who is well known to the international Sai family worldwide.
Sembah sujudku di kaki Padma Ilahi Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba kami yang terkasih, yang terhormat para tetua dan para brothers dan sisters yang terkasih. Sairam dan salam hangat. Sesi dari Creative Hub Mahila Wing kami hari ini bertajukan Bersama dengan Tuhan. Dan pembicara kami adalah seorang Sai Sister yang dikenal di kalangan internasional di keluarga Sai di mancanegara.
Sister Seema has been in Swami's fold since 9 years of age. Her family are devotees of Shirdi Sai Baba and follow Swami as their master. She is an environmentalist by education and is married to Dr. Sister Dewan, who has served at the Sri Satya Sai of Higher Medical Sciences as an ophthalmologist since 1999. She has been blessed with many personal interviews. She lives as a normal householder and her life has been dedicated to become a good mother.
Sister Seema telah berada di naungan Bhagavan Baba sejak usia 9 tahun. Sister Seema berasal dari keluarga yang mengikuti Shirdi Baba dan Satya Sai Baba sebagai guru mereka. Latar belakang pendidikannya adalah seorang pemerhati lingkungan dan ia menikah dengan Dr. Sanjeev Dewan yang bertugas di SSSGC di Prashanti Nilayam sebagai dokter spesialis mata sejak tahun 1999. Ia telah terberkati dengan banyak interview pribadi dengan suami. Ia hidup sebagai seorang ibu rumah tangga dan hidupnya didedikasikan sebagai seorang ibu yang baik.
But these are just words and credentials. But who is Sister Seema and what makes her so amazing?
Namun ini hanya beberapa kata saja dan kredensial saja. Siapakah Sister Seema dan apa yang membuatnya begitu menakjubkan?
Our sister is one of Swami's instruments who was once upon a time gifted a writing instrument. A pen was gifted by Swami to her and divine inspirations were triggered. After that, things just kept rolling automatically as our sister Seema authored many books. Some of the titles are Sai Darshan, Satya Sai Chalisa, Satya Sai Ashirvadam, and Living in the Presence of God. Our sister Seema is also holding the manuscripts of several writings which have already been physically scandified by Swami's personal signature and await to be published as per Sai's will.
Sister kami ini menjadi salah seorang instrumen Swami yang suatu waktu mendapatkan hadiah sebuah alat tulis. Sebuah pena dihadiahkan oleh Swami dan inspirasi keilahiannya pun terpacu. Setelah itu, semua terus bergulir secara otomatis. Sister Seema telah menulis banyak buku. Beberapa judul diantaranya adalah Sai Darshan, Satya Sai Chalisa, Satya Sai Ashirvadam, dan Living in the Presence of God. Ia juga telah menulis beberapa buku lain yang telah ditandatangani oleh Bhagavan dan menunggu untuk diterbitkan sesuai kehendak Sai.
She engages herself in penning inspirational writings and shares them frequently on her social media as below. She hosted the Satya Sai Center of Greater Canton, Ohio at her home for many years, during which time she gave numerous talks about her experiences with Bhagavan and his teachings. She was a Bhavikas teacher for that time and her continued passion is teaching children and the importance of values and the joy of living a life dedicated to her Guru and God, Bhagavan Baba. Bhagavan has blessed her with many close physical encounters over the years. She feels humbled by the grace and the love she has received from her Guru.
Ia menyibukkan dirinya dalam menulis tulisan-tulisan yang menginspirasi di sebuah website dan media sosial seperti berikut di bawah ini. Ia memfasilitasi acara Satya Sai Center dari Greater Canton, Ohio di rumahnya selama bertahun-tahun, sambil memberikan banyak ceramah tentang pengalamannya dengan Bhagavan dan ajaran-ajarannya. Ia juga adalah seorang guru Balikas pada waktu itu, dan keinginan selanjutnya adalah mengajar anak-anak akan pentingnya nilai-nilai dan kesukacitaan dalam menjalani kehidupan yang didedikasikan untuk gurunya Bhagavan Baba. Bhagavan telah memberkatinya dengan memberikan banyak pertemuan secara fisik selama bertahun-tahun. Namun ia merasa tetap rendah hati dengan rahmat dan kasih yang ia terima dari gurunya.
Sister Seema is a devotee who has lived her life in close proximity with Sai and is one with the omnipresent. Her life is to live those beautiful pearls of wisdom given to her by Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Living an ordinary life of a householder with a mind that has surrendered to God is her joy and the love she lives with. The everyday duty of being a mother, sincere and supportive wife, loyal sister, and a grateful daughter gives her the strength to be close and fulfilled in God's life. Swami said to her, "You are in the constant eyes of God. Realizing, do your very best, and when you make a mistake, rise with immense strength to wipe off the stain, for your inner cleanliness is my Ananda." Let your mistakes become your transformation. That message of God she wishes to take across to every heart, for all are His.
Sister Seema adalah seorang bhakta yang telah menjalani kehidupannya dengan begitu dekat bersama Sai. dan menyatu dengan yang selalu berada dimanapun. Hidupnya adalah untuk menghayati mutiara-mutiara kebijaksanaan yang indah yang diberikan oleh Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Menjalani kehidupan sederhana sebagai seorang ibu rumah tangga biasa dengan pikiran yang berserah diri pada Tuhan adalah sukacitanya dan kasih yang ia miliki. Tugas kesehariannya menjadi seorang ibu, istri yang tulus, seorang saudari yang setia, dan seorang putri yang bersyukur, memberikan kekuatan untuk menjadi dekat dan penuh dalam hidup bersama Tuhan. Suami berkata padanya, "Engkau selalu berada di mata Tuhan. Oleh karena itu, lakukanlah yang terbaik. Dan ketika engkau membuat kesalahan, bangkitlah dengan kekuatan luar biasa untuk menghapus noda. Karena kebersihan batin itulah anandaku. Biarlah kesalahanmu menjadi perubahanmu. Pesan itulah yang ia sampaikan ke setiap hati, karena semua adalah miliknya."
And so I will go with one statement of Swami, which is very dear to me and comes to the mind. The golden words uttered by our beloved Baba. The statement goes as follows. My darshan will pour forth from me to and through you.
Dan maka itu ada sebuah ungkapan yang adalah sebuah pernyataan suami yang sangat tepat dalam pikiran ini. Kata-kata emas yang diucapkan oleh suami kami terkasih. Ungkapan itu adalah, darshanku akan mengalir dariku, pada dan melaluimu.
This statement is very accurate description, and this will be the best way to introduce our Sister Seema Dewan. Before we call upon our guest of honor, I would like to thank our beloved Bhagavan Baba, who has given us the opportunity for Sis Seema, one of his chosen instruments, to speak on his glory in our platform. It took some time to actually await a yes from Swami for this session. It's only due to his blessings that we are all here to rejoice in his glory.
Pernyataan ini adalah penjelasan yang sangat tepat, dan ini akan menjadi cara terbaik untuk memperkenalkan Sister kami, Sister Seema Dewan. Sebelum kami memanggil tamu kehormatan kami ingin berterima kasih pada Bhagavan Baba kami yang terkasih, yang telah memberikan kesempatan bagi Sis Seema, salah seorang dari instrumen pilihannya, untuk mengemukakan kemuliaannya di panggung kami. Sebenarnya ada cukup jeda waktu menunggu sebuah ya dari suami untuk sesi ini, karena hanya berkat beliaulah kami semua berada di sini, bergembira dalam kemuliaannya.
To our Sister Seema Dewan, a very big Sairam. Our hearts are wide open, and the Mahila Wing of the Sri Satya Sai Global Council Indonesia, including all the participants, warmly welcomes you.
Pada sister kami, Sister Seema Dewan, Sairam sebesar-besarnya, hati kami semua terbuka dengan lebar. Dan Mahila Wing dari Sri Satya Sai Global Council Indonesia dan segenap seluruh peserta yang hadir menyambut Anda dengan penuh kehangatan.
Sairam, sister.
I feel so humbled with your introduction. Thank you so much for your kind words. We are all children of Bhagavan come together today, and I know there are people from all over the world right now. My sincere namaskars to each one. It was kind of funny because it's 10 o'clock in the night here, and usually at this time I'm doing Gayatri Mantra with my family, and I'm in my robe and going to sleep. So it was very funny because in one of my sessions with Bhagavan, he asked me, he said, what is something that is very important to you? And I said, Swami, you. And he said, no. What is something that you cannot live without? And I thought about it, and I said, Swami, I cannot live without you. He said, no, choose something that you do for a daily thing. I said, Swami, I like tea. I like my tea in the morning. He said, give it up. So I started laughing that time because I said, I wish I had not said that, because from that time onwards, he didn't allow me to have tea. So I was hoping I could have a cup of tea at 9 o'clock in the night, because I'm up at 10 o'clock right now, but I have to listen to Swami. So the moral of the story is never tell Swami the truth. You know, you want to tell something to Swami that you can easily give up. one beautiful thing Swami told me, and excuse me because I have my iPad with me today. There are so many things I'm going to narrate that Swami spoke to me, and I don't want to, I want to be clear as to how he spoke to me with the words he spoke to me. So he said to me, he said, I asked him, I said, Swami, how did I come into this journey of Bhagwan, being with you so close? And he said, every soul, he said, continues their journey, what they had from their last birth. And he said, if you had a very strong yearning for God in your last birth, then in this birth, you come at a very young age with that yearning. And he said, more than anything else, yearning for God is the highest grace. He said, because when you have able to go through all the churning that I make you go through and all the difficulties I make you go through. And he said, when you go through this churning, that's when you come closest to me. And then he also laughed and he said, sometimes I churn you and sometimes I turn you upside down. And I laughed. I said, what does that mean, Swami? He said, turning upside down means what you think you are, I take that away from you and I make you who you really are. And it reminded me of the Satcharita, where he has to follow the guru and they put him upside down in a well. I don't know, those that have read the Satcharita would remember that chapter. So and when I read that chapter, I thought that the guru was, seeing his endurance. But now I realized when Swami told me, turning you upside down means making you who you really are from what you think you are. So that was a very beautiful statement. I also learned from that particular conversation with Swami that we often fear difficulties in life, but I've realized that whenever I've had a difficulty in life, of course, I've not enjoyed the difficulty when it first came. I get the fear and I feel the fear and I go running to him. And throughout the process, I realized that at the end, I have become a completely different person from when the difficulty had begun. And when the difficulty ends and actually a good period starts, believe it or not, I start missing those periods of the difficulty because I ran to him and was close to him and, listened to every basic teaching of his and made sure that I don't go away from the path in order for his grace to come to me. So during the period of early 2000s, from between 2001 to 2006, Swami gave me some English songs, and these English songs would come to me when I'm cooking and I'm cleaning, and so I would record these songs. And I took that book to Swami, and Swami went through all the songs. So last night, when I was trying, it's a difficult position because you're going to talk and you don't know what you're going to talk. He won't allow me to prepare for the talk. So I have my iPad in front of me because I have all what he's spoken to me, the messages I want to see what experiences he's going to pick up from those. So last night at about 10:30 in the night, he chose about 3 songs and told me to sing these 3 songs. So I'm going to sing the first song right now. I'll give you the significance of that song also. Lord, I have prayed and you have come. We often, we pray to God for his presence, but often we don't believe that he has come. And being in his physical presence and being in his omniscience, I want to say one thing to you from the bottom of my heart is that when you call upon God, even when you whisper to him, he has come instantly to you. Have that faith in you that he has really come, because he does come. And even though things are not going the way you think they need to be, don't think that he's not listening to your prayers. He told me once in an interview, I can feel the movement of an ant I even know when an ant takes its step. So when we are crying and we are speaking and we are yearning for his presence and we are telling him of our difficulties, don't ever think that he's ignoring it. That may not be the right time or the right thing for it to happen. And that's why you feel it's a silence, but actually he is responding to you through that silence, and his silence is saying, wait, wait, wait. So the song is, Lord, I have prayed and you have come. The fear of my heart, you have turned to love. So when you go through difficulties and when you see that your prayers are not being answered, the one thing that you should hold on to, that you should not give up, is I love God. Don't give up. The most frequent thing that happens during that period is one gives up. The love for God starts shaking. Okay. So the first thing I'm asking you to do is, when you pray, know God is with you. The second thing I'm asking you to do is, when he's not answering your prayers, love him, because what he's going to do for you is far greater than what you're asking of him to do. Then the next sentence is, I am free in thy gaze, I shall be one in thy name. So once you realize that he's not giving you what you want, become free, surrender to him. Realize that something is going to come that you've not thought about. So surrender. The weight you're carrying on your shoulders, ease those shoulders. Then the next line is, the door of my heart opens to thy touch. So you start feeling the presence of God because you're getting stronger. You can only feel the presence of God as you get stronger. You can't feel the presence of God as you deny him. So the door of my heart, your door of your heart has to open to him in order to see that his grace is with you, his touch is with you, his divine touch is with you. My faith in thy word brought the truth to run. Because I had that immense faith that nothing wrong is going to happen, the truth came running to me. Your wisdom from inside will start flowing. The Sai, the God from within you, will start talking to you and places roots upon my mind. The mind is very shaky. It thinks all over the place because it responds only to senses. But once you get attached to the roots of truth, the mind itself turns to truth. Lord, you have saved me just in time. I shall bury the past and live this moment now. That is the key thing Swami says. Swami says, don't go constantly, this is what happened to me. This is how I suffered. Swami said, when the dark clouds have passed and the sun is shining, concentrate on the sun. Don't keep remembering how those dark clouds had come, how that storm had come towards you. So move ahead. The seeds of thy love has made me grow somehow. So as truth grows in you, you start seeing the change in you and you say, wow, you start appreciating yourself of how you are. And in thy home, Lord, I shall reach. His home is in your heart. For I have vowed to stay in thee. And then, how does he do this whole process? You're begging God to turn me, churn me, take me and make me true. Love me, stay with me, save me and make me you. I'll sing the song to you. Turn me, churn me, take me and make me true, Lord. Love me, stay with me, save me and make me you.
my mind. Lord, you saved me just in time. I shall bury the past and live this moment now. The seeds of thy love has made me grow somehow, and in thy home, Lord, I shall reach, for I have vowed to stay in thee. Yes, I vowed to stay in thee. Turn me, take me and make me true. Lord, love me, stay with me, save me and make me you. Lord, turn me, take me and make me true. Lord, love me, stay with me, save me and make me you. Lord, I have prayed and you have come.
The Lord has come and He's with each one of us right now. We don't even need to invoke His presence. He's in each of our hearts right now. He's in your homes right now. Each of your families have His grace. Everything is going to be okay. Everything's going to be well. Always say that to yourself. Don't think negative. Swami always says, I don't punish you. I don't do anything negative to you. It is you that repeats it to yourself constantly and makes wrong things happen. I only come to save you. So let this presence of God enter your homes, enter your hearts, and know that wherever you are right now, Swami is standing with you. I wanted to share something funny with you. That was when COVID started and there was a lockdown. We all had different changes in life. We had to stay home and find different ways. And it was strange for me because for me, there was no change in lifestyle. For me, COVID, and because my lockdown has been a communion with God lockdown from age 28. And He has kept me with Him constantly in His thought process, very less going out in the world, doing stuff with the world. It was mostly in the house and living in His own missions. So it's for me during the COVID time, I really didn't feel any change. My kids and my husband felt the change, but for me it was pretty much the same because I always, He had instructed me one thing, that the way to reach God, it does not come by doing something great or grand. It comes by doing the simplest thing. And He said, if in each home God becomes the center of that home, then what is happening in the world, it would completely change, because Swami said the entire world, the goodness of the world depends upon the family unit. It depends upon the mother and the father and the relationship of the mother and father with the children and bringing God into the home constantly. So that's one thing I would like if there are any parents listening to me today, Swami always spoke about parents holding a very high sense of responsibility. He said, each parent should realize that whatever they do, how they speak, how they think, what they do, whatever you may teach the child, however much you may send the child to a Bal Vikas, or let them read Satya Sai Speaks or do whatever, they will not change until and unless you're exemplary by nature. So the home atmosphere, everything begins with the home atmosphere from the time the child is born in the house till the time the child becomes an adult. It is the parents, that teaches the child truthfulness, number one, sincerity, and true love for God.
Sister Seema, I have one question.
Mhm.
Okay, you said regarding fear. I feel fear is a dangerous disease. What do you think Baba would say on fear and how to remove this fear?
Fear is a disease. It comes to you because you don't have faith in yourself. Fear equals lack of Atmavishwas. Swami used to always talk about self-confidence. It's because we keep ourselves always last. We think that we don't need ourselves that much as we need the world. We become so dependent on everyone else, on the environment, that we least depend on ourselves. So what happens is when difficulties come to us and we have to depend on ourselves, we are not able to do that. And that equals fear. If you have had self-confidence, knowing that God is within you, because when we don't have self-confidence, we are denying God within us. So Swami used to always say, he told me a couple of times when I went and he called me, he said, look, 40,000 people are there outside. I can count in my one hand how many are my true devotees. That really hurt me and gave me, and he had his eyes welled up when he said that. And he said, see, I am the indweller in each one, yet they fear, yet they don't believe, yet they ask me for faith. So fear, Sister Simran, equals you not believing at that point or someone not believing at that time that God is your indweller, that you have to call God from some place outside, that he needs some time or you need to do some sadhana. Let me give you an example. Suppose you did something wrong and your mother is with you, right? Will your mother at the time of difficulty hold that against you and say, I won't come right now to you because you did A, B, C, D wrong? Correct? However, whatever is your nature, God will come to you. So it's not that you need to be perfect when you pray to God. So you don't need to fear anything because his presence is always within you. I am in you, I am with you, I am around you, always with you. That is my mantra of my life. That is how I find the indweller inside of me. So when fear comes, it's not that I don't fear. I do get feared a lot of times, but then what I do is I snap out of it within 5 minutes and I say, look at you. He's your indweller. He speaks to you. He's with you all the time. And remember one thing, Sister Simran, there is no one's life that is perfect. No one. The most powerful, the most richest person, anyone, there is ups and downs. It's the vibration of the Om itself is up and down. Why? Because it balances. There is a positivity, it's balanced by the negativity. So when there's going to be happiness, it's going to be balanced by some sadness. When there is misery, it is again going to be balanced with good times. So you have to understand that we cannot desire from God to have a perfect life. That is impossible. But what if you concentrate on the indweller constantly and fear does come into you, because the mind, Swami said, will think. Okay. As the thinker, you have to bring the mind back. You have to tell the mind, no, you are forgetting that the Lord of the universe is in my heart. So be quiet. And it is a practice of quietening the mind. So this is a beautiful question you asked, because I have something over here that says something very similar in one of the interviews. So this must be Swami must have asked you to ask me. I asked him a very similar question. Swami, how do you remain equal-minded? Very similar to what you're asking. How do I control fear? And he said, he looked at me and he said, control your mind. He said like this, okay? And so I asked him, I said, I have the conversation here, so I'm reading it out to you. I said, is it possible, Swami, to think nothing? And he said, no. He said, and he said, as long as senses are active, you think. Then he said, focus on me, think love, be love. So first you have to think love, then you have to do acts of love. Because another thing he told me is, remember one thing, when you serve another, you may be thinking you're giving love, but you are yourself a fountain of love in order to give that love. So thank that person because that fountain of love is within you. So he said to me, then I asked him, I said, do you have a mind, Baba? Do you have a mind? Because, I mean, you're God. Do you think also? And he said, yes, yes, but I only think good for all. So why do we have fear? That was a very powerful sentence. He said, we have fear because we don't think for the good of all. We think for ourselves first, then we think for the good of all. Or, or sometimes we are just selfishness where we think only about ourselves. So even when we serve, we are doing things, it's not that we will give up anything that we will give up and just do for the sake of another. We won't do that. We will keep ourselves safe and yet do for someone else. So he said, I think for the good of all. And then I asked him, I said, then Swami, what about karma then? How does one get out of this cycle of karma? Because there'll be fear, and then from fear, karma is gone. And so he said, karma will always be there as long as there is ego. And so I asked him, I said, Swami, what is the definition of ego? He said, I am breathing is ego. I am eating is ego. So you have to overcome that too. Okay. Ego in his definition doesn't mean having pride. Or, it means basically having any awareness of yourself attached to an action. So, so I told him, I said, then Baba, there is no way out. I told him, I said, this is a terrible cycle, because how do I stop thinking I'm breathing and I'm eating? I'm going to say that to myself, I'm going to eat. So he said a very beautiful thing, and that started in my life. And this was during living in the presence of God. Then, let me see where it is here. He said, offer all you do to me. He said, if you're eating, say, Swami, I'm eating now. This is your body. I'm feeding you. Okay, so every bit, whatever you do, Swami said, keep offering. And he said, at the same time, while you're offering everything that you do to me, okay, so self-awareness has to be very high. God cannot be outside of you. God has to be within you. You have to know yourself as a part of God. To say, I am eating means that higher self on me is eating. I am breathing means the higher self in me is breathing. That awareness has to come in you. Because you can't say, Satya Sai Baba from Puttaparthi, please come and eat my food. Satya Sai Baba from Puttaparthi, come and breathe for me. You are not able to do that. So basically, when you repeat that, you get a sense of higher awareness. He said, when you start giving everything to me and parallelly you're doing every action that has unconditional love, he said, your karma that you think will completely vanish and I will take it upon myself. It will become mine. He said, that karma will become mine. Wow. So he gave me a formula. The formula is 2 for each one. The first thing is whatever you do in life, start saying, I'm offering this to God. Let it become a habit. I'm offering this to God. I'm offering this to God. I'm now driving and God, you're driving. Okay, now I'm getting to work and God, you're getting to work with me. My boss is yelling at me. Oh, Swami, you're yelling at me. It must be something for the good. Everything you have to see as him. Okay. And at the same time, you have to react with unconditional love to all of this. So Swami said that higher self-awareness, since there is no ego related to the action, all actions, effort and actions will become mine. Results will also become mine. Because your awareness is only Swami, 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 Swami. Where, what is there? Not even I am doing. Swami, you're doing. Swami, you made me fall. Swami, you. So these are the 2 answers he gave me about the mind and karma. So it's beautiful that you asked about the fear because they relate to that. Is there anything else you need me to ask or should I go on?
That's really a beautiful insight. We should start doing that.
Yes, and it has worked for me. Not that I haven't shaken from it. I have definitely shaken from it, but I've come back to it. I come back to it because
from it. Then how do you come back?
Because when my ego comes up, for example, suppose someone gets angry with me, okay, and I get hurt, right? That's a sign of ego, correct?
Right.
And I'm like, okay, so-and-so is angry with me. I'm also going to be angry back. Not in a bad way, but I won't talk much. Yes?
Yeah.
But each time when I start doing that, I realize one thing about myself is I don't feel happy inside.
Yeah.
I don't feel happy inside. So when I'm walking around, even though I'm ignoring the person, I'm not feeling happy inside of me.
Mm.
So I say, oh my gosh, I'm not feeding Swami, because he said, I am your Atma,
And your answer.
and my food is your joy. Okay. So I'm not feeding Swami now.
Mm.
So, but my ego will sometimes, but I can't always say, I'm sorry. I can't always do this. And Swami says, oh, okay, I'll fast then inside of you. You can walk with your ego. I won't eat today. How many days can I not feed the Lord? Right? 1 day, 2 days. I'm not happy. And I know my joy is his food. So after the 3rd day, I want his fast to break. I want to be with him back. And it doesn't matter to me anymore who's angry with me, because I'm saying I'm changing my entire self in order to respond to this person. Correct?
Right.
I'm changing my entire, all what I have collected through my years, I'm throwing it just for me to respond in this manner. I'm also not feeding the Lord doing that, is it worth? And when I feel it's not, when that realization has to come, because that feeling, that passion is there, because the mind will keep telling you, it will keep giving you, but you're so good. You've always done. But obviously you're not very good, because not only are you reacting in the wrong way, you're not keeping the Lord happy inside of you. And that's the most important thing in life. So it doesn't matter if somebody thinks you're weak, right? You go and tell that person, okay, I'm sorry, let's go on. If that person thinks you're weak, so be it. Okay. But your relationship with God comes first, because every other relationship has limitations. Closest of the closest. Don't give up God and keeping God happy for responding to a relationship out of ego. It's not that you're swallowing and you're becoming weaker. You're actually becoming stronger.
Beautifully. My food is your joy. That's really nice.
My food is your joy. That's right. He says, if you have to feed me, you have to be happy. He used to tell me. And that was his first sentence. Every time he called me, the first thing he would tell me is, are you happy?
Yeah.
The first time I told him, Swami, I thought I'm being humble. Swami, I'm trying. He looked at me like that. He said, don't try, just be. Because Baba said, trying to be happy means you're carrying unhappiness with you. You're saying, let me carry some of the unhappiness. 70% happiness, 30% unhappiness. Okay, now 90% Swami for you, but 10% unhappy. Why? He said, why do you want to carry even 1%? You just be in bliss. Think of me. I'm there, no? I am with you. I am in you. I am around you. Always with you. This is how Swami used to say it. He used to draw on the always. Always with you. And that's the way I say it to myself also. I don't say it, he's with me in me. He says, he's in me, he's with me, he's around me, he's always with me. I say that because that affects my mind not to go outward. It comes back to the indweller. You have to always, the mind is never at fault. The thinker is at fault. The thinker allows the mind to think in that manner. You bring the thoughts back. You have the power to think, bring your thoughts back to positivity, correct? Not the mind. The mind is just getting a resource. It has resources. You're not going to your source. Your source is here. You're looking for resources to make you happy, right? Swami says, leave the resources, remove the RE, go to the source. Everything is within you. You can handle any situation, you can endure any situation. As long as you remember that the indweller that is within you is with you always.
Beautifully said. Amazing.
See, there are, Simran, there are ways where you can intellectually get this from a book and you won't.
Yeah.
You'll read this and 2 days later you won't be able to. But when you live it, And you practice it and fail, and practice it and fail, and practice it and fail.
So your process must be the same. You're practicing and then you feel, and finally.
Yeah, it becomes part of your nature. It becomes, you start thinking like Bhagwan. You start being him, not becoming him. You're already him. You start being him. He used to always say, I am God. What are you? You're also God. Say to yourself, I am God. Without saying that, he said, how can you be God? Right?
Right.
He said, I am Seema, I am Seema, I am Seema, I am Seema. Then he says, all those horns of that bull will come up, you know. Anything that is attached, it will get attached to you. You have to take these the horns that are growing on your head and go to your heart. Always go to your heart. It will always tell you the truth. Even the one, Swami told me once, the one who is doing the worst action knows he's doing the worst. Even the killer knows. Even the killer can be transformed. If you give him love at that point. He has gone so much outside of himself because he had what Swami used to use this word, misunderstanding with himself. He used to always say, you misunderstand yourself. Who's that self he talks about? You misunderstanding who? Misunderstanding God, him. Basically, he's saying, you're misunderstanding me all the time. But very nicely, he'll say, you're just misunderstanding yourself. He will never tell you you're bad, you're wrong, you're doing no judgments. Never. He will talk very softly. But he will always say, this is misunderstanding. No? Don't think that. Think this way. He will elevate you to a better person. So he taught me this lesson because we live with each other and we have a habit when we are with each other, we put each other down. Right?
Yes,
when we correct somebody, we can correct our children beautifully because we love them to death. Okay,
yeah.
so yes.
But
But if it's somebody else's slightest mistake we see, we can talk 45 minutes and half hour on it, you know, and enjoy it because Swami said to me one day, when you're talking all of this, you're hiding all your mistakes inside. So you're so happy. You have these group of friends that are sitting and talking about somebody who's not there, who doesn't even know you're talking about them. Correct? But Swami said, what did those 7-8 people do? They bandaged, he used to say, bandaged each other's mistakes. So he used to tell me, don't keep too many friends. Then he used to say, don't even keep one. He used to tell me, say hello, hello, say bye-bye. He used to say, between hello, hello and bye-bye, mistakes. Correct?
Correct.
He said, that's where the mistakes come because you talk unnecessarily.
Yeah, you go out of your way and start speaking.
And you please others. You please others because when somebody is saying, you know what, for example, my mother-in-law has been doing this and my aunt has been doing this and this, out of compassion, you feel you need to listen, correct? And at that point, you start responding, oh, she shouldn't have done that. Or he shouldn't have done this to you. Swami says, no, no, no. You uplift that person. Instead of listening, saying, you want to come here and do this instead? Let's go and serve next Sunday. What are you doing? Let's do. Take her out of that conversation repetitively. And if still that person constantly comes to you repeatedly with that conversation, then Swami said it is not even wrong to ignore that conversation. Say, Sairam, I can't talk that way. God is within you. God is within me. We cannot put him down. We are doing all the service. We are doing all these projects. If we do all this right now, what is the point? He's omniscient. He's watching you and me. Right? Let me go on here a little bit and say, you see, this is another beautiful thing he told me. He said, how many people touch my feet? And he said, I give them liberation from their thinking. He said, you don't even know when you have touched my feet. And when I'm saying touched his feet, I'm not saying only Puttaparthi, okay? Where you have to run and get a Pada Namaskar from him. I'm talking about wherever you even have a Paduka picture next to you yourself or any Paduka. That particular touching that feet, Swami said, he can free you from negative thinking. Then he says, troubles can only be there if you are still there. But if you have given yourself to me, you're facing nothing. He said, troubles are true if you have given up on God, he said. But if you have given yourself, if you have surrendered fully to me, then he said, troubles also vanish immediately that time. So this was another beautiful thing that he told me. And then he says, the one that touches the feet of the divine transforms. So carry his padukas with you in your wallets, in your cars, okay? Anytime you have difficulty, even at your work, anyway, it takes 1 minute to touch his feet, right? We have that much time, correct?
Yeah.
One small picture we can carry. He said it's not a photograph. How many times I had incidents where I spoke to his photograph, and then when I went to Parthi, there was one since we are on the topic, I'll give you that. I was going to Parthi, and he gave me a Mangal Sutra to wear. And I would not wear the Mangal Sutra throughout the day. I would wear it at about 3-4 o'clock after that, because the kids that time were small. Sometimes my younger one would yank it. I would get scared. But every time I didn't wear it, when I went to Parthi, he would say, Mangal Sutra, not wearing. So this time, as I was going to Parthi, there was a picture of Swami on my landing as I'm going. And I touched his feet and I said, now don't shout at me if you call me in front of others and say, why you're not wearing Mangal Sutra, Mangal Sutra. If you have to tell me something, tell me quietly. And my relationship with Swami, even in the physical form, was, I would say, literally had no fear in it. We joked and we laughed, we were best of friends. So when we went to Parthi and he called me for the interview, he finished the whole interview. It was done. He said, I will call you in the evening. I said, yes, Swami. Everybody left. And I had this habit, when everybody used to leave, I used to still wait. So I get that 2 minutes alone with him. Because as a woman, it's hard to be alone with Swami. He will not allow. He's very strict. But I used to allow the kids to go, my husband to go, and I'm just going very, very slowly backwards looking at him. So as I'm going backwards, he calls me like this. So I was very happy. I said, oh my gosh, I get a little precious time with him. So I ran to him, I sat by his lap. He said, he said, bring your ear here. I said, where is your Mangal Sutra? So I didn't remember. So I looked at it, I said, here's for me. And then I realized, and then he gave me this smile that, what did you tell me before? Don't shout at me. Don't tell me in front of everybody. So he waited for everybody to go. Then he called me and he whispered it in my ear. That's the beauty, you know. Another incident I remember that is a very nice, also with a picture. We were in Bangalore. And every time I went to Parthi, I used to have this habit that I have to buy some new saris to show Swami, because I used to like to dress up for Swami. So I went to buy some saris and I had to get blouses made in 2 days because I don't want to waste time not to go to Parthi. So I'm sitting in this tailor's shop and she has a small picture of Swami and she was saying, madam, I'll just give it to you in 15 minutes. He had something to do. So that picture, Swami is talking to me from that picture. He's telling me, you have a vibhuti packet now inside your purse, give it to the tailor. Now, I used to always carry one vibhuti packet only for the 3-week trip. And my children always got sick in the trip, okay? They always had some stomach upset or something. So I needed that. So I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, then I have no vibhuti, and Swami sometimes calls at the last day. So I'll have no vibhuti in the middle. So I said, let me see. So I'm so stupid. I'm saying it's a picture. It's okay. I'll wait a little bit. Maybe it won't insist. Every time I would look at the picture, that vibhuti, give it. So of course I took the vibhuti out from my purse and I went and told the tailor, I said, Swami wants you to have this vibhuti. This is blessed interview vibhuti. Oh, she started sobbing there. I've never seen him, here. I don't have the money to go there, but my God, I pray to him every single day. This is so much. Are you sure? And I'm saying, yes, take it before I ask. I tell you to give it back to me, take it. So I left over there and I went to Parthi, and amazingly, 2 days later, I get sick. I was never the one who gets sick. I got sick. And so I sent my children, 3 of them alone for darshan. I said, you guys go. I'm not feeling well at all. I'm getting chills and fever, I think. So these guys go and they come back 9:30 in the morning with a packet of vibhuti. They said Swami was passing us, smiled at us, and tossed a vibhuti packet. So he returned. He said, see, don't worry. You think you gave it. I gave that. Here is your supply back that you have wanted. So if you have a picture in your altar, don't think it's a picture. In fact, treat your entire home as though it's Prashanti Nilayam. Treat your entire home. Keep it clean. Swami loves cleanliness. Swami loves organization. Swami doesn't like any fights in the house. He doesn't like misunderstandings. He doesn't call them fights, misunderstandings. He likes the children to have a very good, solid upbringing in God. If each parent is able to do that, it will become wonderful. It will become a wonderful life. And as you try it, I know sometimes the situations are trying in the house, he will come and transform the person who's troubling. He will come and change. You have that faith. He will change that. So make your homes a heaven. Don't think that, oh my gosh, only when I go to Prashanti Nilayam, that's when I get grace. Only, yes, Prashanti Nilayam, there is nothing like Prashanti Nilayam. Okay? It's the place where every sand is speaking Swami. Every bird has Swami in it. Every fly there, everything has Swami in it. It's wonderful to go and recharge. That's good to do that. But when you come back home, if you don't incorporate those vibrations in your home, and you're all the time thinking about your next trip, I want to go again, I want to go again, I'm happy only there, it's only because, then Swami himself will tell you, what is this altar that you have? What are these pictures that you have? What are these mantras that you are doing? What is the meaning of these meditations? They are nothing. I had asked Swami even for meditation when I was there once. I said, Swami, should I meditate every day? And he said, no. I said, why, Swami? He said, most people, when they meditate, they sleep, he said, or they are just thinking something else and asking. He said, meditation, what is important is you should have a very silent and a good mind. He said, silent and good mind comes by good actions. He said, constantly keep doing good actions. Constantly be doing good actions. He said, it will develop a silent mind. He said, once you develop a silent mind that is solid, he said, then you sit and meditate, because then the cosmic self from inside will speak to you. Then you will get directions for your good work. Okay, this is what you do tomorrow. It'll come from within you. But if you are solidly, Swami said, what happens is a lot of people meditate, but then they don't realize that meditation is simply it's a precursor. It's just a silence that allows you to do a lot of God work. So, and then that God work that fills you with joy gives you inner knowledge and wisdom. That's when you know God speaking from within you. So Baba said, meditation is actually a person who's doing tremendous amount of work in silence. Swami said, meditation means a lot of work being done in a very short period in complete silence and equilibrium. That's Swami told me the definition of meditation. Okay, and at that time I was shocked. So I said, okay, everything that I do must have that inner silence. That's what I have to practice. From that inner silence, I can take periods to meditate in order to get direction of what I have work to do. Okay, but in the end, Swami said, work is worship, and in work itself, your self-awareness comes. Self-awareness is meditation. Okay.
Okay.
Another beautiful saying he told me one day is, he said, this is in the interview he told me, he said, you see how a bee goes around a flower? He said, when it goes around a flower, it doesn't know if there's honey in it. He said, so it's making this bzz, 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 bzz noise, right? He said, but once it goes into the flower, what happens? He said, once it starts drinking that nectar, it becomes silent. So the same thing he said, you also, he told me, be like a bee, he said, collect the honey and guard it always. Okay. What is the honey? The honey is how many Satya Sai speaks we have? Innumerable Satya Sai speaks.
Yeah.
From those Satya Sai, we think about, we have a new speaker, we are listening to the speaker, but the speaker of speakers left treasures of treasures for us. Still, we are not able to take that treasure and break it down and see that. We still need someone else who's leading a very ordinary life to come and tell each other, no, he is God. No, this is what you have to do. He's in you, with you, around you. No, it feels so silly. All you have to do is even one paragraph, if you read a day, even one paragraph you read a day, and it hits home for you, and you follow that, you will be ready to receive the next paragraph, because each line has so much depth. When Swami speaks, there is so much depth. And it's not only depth, there is power of instant transformation. There is power of instant transformation when Swami speaks. So read the Satya Sai speaks. That's my thing to you. There are so many beautiful discourses given by the Lord. Take those and don't keep it just as a time where, okay, I read this chapter and I finished it. Incorporate it in your life. It's only with practice. See, we learn when we go to school. Imagine reading the textbook once sometime in October and going and giving a final exam in May.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll flunk. Okay, there's no way. You're going to fail for sure. And that's how we are failing every day. Why? Because we are reading these things for a very short period of time, right? Yeah. And then after that, we feel we know. So suppose I have asked so many times, like I'll say, have you read? I know. I read it, I know. The I know is coming out. I know is different from I am, right? Swami used to say, I know. That is bull again. I am is silent inside. It will come from inside of you. You'll never go and tell somebody I am, right? That won't come. But the ego declares itself as I know,
Yeah.
So incorporate that silently and go and tell Swami whatever weaknesses we have. I go and speak to Swami about my weaknesses. Swami, why after so many years being with you, so still I can slip like that? What is it with me? And Swami says, self-awareness goes down, ego comes up. Self-awareness comes down, ego goes up. So you have to realize there are two people in you. One that is attached to all the outside that is with, outside around you. Then there is another person inside of you that is sitting on the lap of God, on the lap of the indweller. Yeah, when you wake up in the morning, think you're on the lap of the indweller. Say, I am sitting on Swami's lap. Okay, I'm not going to move from this lap. Nothing is going to make me move from this lap. Another thing he had told me beautiful was, he said, when you go to a new place, right, and you are lost somewhere, right? He said, do you go to 10 people and say, hey, can you give me directions? Can you give me directions? You go to one person, correct? You go to one person who knows the directions and you follow the directions. He said in the same way, once, and he told me so sweetly, he didn't even say, choose me. He said, once you have found your guru, don't move from him. Don't go to 10 gurus. Don't spread yourselves thin. Follow him. If you focus on his teachings, if you believe in him from the bottom of your heart, the transformation will occur in you because you're not spreading yourself thin. I think what I'll do right now is I'll give you probably an experience before we go so that it's not an intense talk. I want to lighten it a little bit because there are some that may like the other part of the talk. So this is a kind of a funny incident that happened to me when I went to Parthi, my first trip. And of course, I did not know the rules of Parthi much. My birthday was coming up on August 31st, and I was very full of myself thinking that, oh, I should go and ask special permission and try to get a front row so can I offer sweets to Swami. So I go to the public relations office and I said, sir, it's my birthday tomorrow. Can you give me a first row? So he said, check, go from here, he told me. He said, you're VIP? I said, no, sir. No. He said, "Look, go from here. Thousands of people's birthdays are there. You think I'll put everybody on the front row?" So I saw Swami's picture behind him. I said, "Uncle, Swami is standing right behind you. If Swami is really God, tomorrow I'll get a front row. And if I get a front row, I'll get a sweet for you and come." He said, "Okay, done deal, go." I said, "Okay." So I went home and I got a thali made. I did an om and I got a plate full of sweets. And I used to always feel from childhood that I'm married to God. So I used to always feel, and I wasn't married that time either. I wore a red salwar kameez, put a red tika, and really went bridal, even though I'm not bridal, with a dupatta on my head and everything. And I said, "Okay, Swami, now that you know how much faith I have, you're going to give me front row." And I picked up and I got last row. Okay. So I went and sat down on the last row. And I said, "Wow, this is incredible. He's God. He was watching through that picture. I should have got the front row." So I looked in the front and like there were 10 minutes left for Swami to come out. Everybody was getting everything. And I saw in the front row, there was a cushion. And I was watching that cushion from the time I have come, that who's going to come and sit on the cushion. There's nobody coming and sitting on that cushion. So my inside is saying, "Go sit on that cushion." And I'm saying, "Really? In the last row, those volunteers, in Parthi, you can be sliced." So I said, "Okay, it's a very strong inner voice. I'm going to follow it." Swami is probably telling me, he was looking at me from the picture there, he's kept a cushion for me. So with the greatest Atma Vishwas and self-confidence and innocence, I say, excuse me, I'm going through everyone. Everybody's just giving me way like this. And I'm going in the front. And I go and very nicely, I sit down on that cushion, put my dupatta, and I have and the music starts and Swami comes. And suddenly a lady comes running down like this. And she's looking like this. And she says, "Sairam, move that side, and she sit down." And she's a volunteer. This was the volunteer's cushion I'm sitting on. I didn't know that that's a volunteer's cushion. She also didn't know. She thought I was some person that's supposed to sit because I'm sitting with these thalis and all that. I had permission, so she came and sat down. Swami used to come out that time from the middle of the mandir, not from from the middle. So the main hall, he comes out, and instead of making a round, I'm like dead center, front row, opposite the Kulwant hall. And he is laughing and doing this and coming. And as he comes like 3 feet away from me, he's wiping tears. Like, it was so funny for him, and he's shaking his head and I'm sitting like this because he knew what I had done. Yeah. And he had probably placed that thought into me, and I not knowing anything, went and sat down. So he came and he told me, "Where are you from?" So I said, "Swami, I'm visiting from the US." He said, yes, very happy. So I said, "Swami, can you call me for an interview?" He said, not now. You're a young girl. When you come with husband." So at that time, I had even decided not to get married and, teach in Swami school. I wanted to teach in Swami school. I said, "Swami, I'm not going to get married." He said, no, come after marriage only. After marriage. So I said, "Okay, Swami." So he took the sweets and he threw it. He started throwing the sweets to everybody. And then he took 15 or 20 sweets and then threw it on my head, right on my lap. It came down. Okay. And he left. So I gathered, my whole thali was empty. The sweets were gone. The sweets were thrown. I had 15, 20 sweets. I said, "Wow, I can give it to my family. I have blessed sweets from Swami." So I get up and one by one, somebody comes and says, "Sairam, my uncle is really sick. Sweet." I said, "Sure." So this was from 20 to 19 to 18. This is going on 7, 8, 5, 4, 3. 2 are left. Oh, wow. I said 2 at the end. Now I'm walking to my room and saying, "Swami, only 2 left." My father was very sick that time. I said, "Swami, at least 1 for my father." So I go there, and the place I was staying I had 3 suites left, not 2, sorry. I had 2 old ladies there. So they said, oh, we heard you had a very good darshan. Swami gave you sweets. So I gave them 2 sweets and I had 1 left. And I laughed and I thought to myself, I said, see, you think that he pours these sweets on you and they are for you, but they were never for me. All these sweets that he had given, one by one, were for those people
Who need it?
those thoughts. Just like he gave me the thought to come to the front cushion, he gave them the thought, to come and ask me for the sweet, gave me the thought to give it to them, and I needed only 1 and was left with 1 sweet. So this is his Mahima. This is how he works his will. We are limited to this body and 1 mind, but he's not limited to that. And for us, it is amazing to see, how he does this without having multiple bodies in front of you. So if he has to give anything to you, he doesn't need to come, flying in an airplane and a great. He will send his instrument, and his instrument will be right in front of you. I had another beautiful experience recently. I had some painting work to do in my house. And there was the young girl, she was 22, 23 years old, that came pregnant, and she was pregnant about, I think, 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, she was about to deliver. And I was really scared because she was bending and doing all this stuff. So I was with her throughout the day, and Swami told me, make sure you feed her, take good care of her like a daughter, okay? So she was feeling a little bit like, don't worry about it, you're fussing over me. So I was trying not to, I was trying to do it, and I said, you sure you don't need water? You need a fruit right now? She said, no, don't worry, I got my bag of food. I said, okay, but I was just following Swami's instructions because Swami told me, make sure you take good care of her. Then all of a sudden, he says to me, give her a packet of vibhuti. She's going to have difficulty in delivery. Sent her for this. She's not come just, I want you to give. I'll show you which vibhuti packet also. So he particularly showed me, he said, this 3rd one underneath, you take and go and give it to her. So now how to tell her this, right?
Yeah.
So I went to her and I said, hey, you know what? I go to a temple in India, Holy Ash. There is a holy person there, he's a saint, and this holy ash creates miracles for people who need it. I don't know why I'm getting this feeling inside of me that I should give this to you, and that take a little bit in water every day till you deliver. She said, oh, that's so cool. She don't okay. She said, no worry. And she said, wow, this smells so good too. She told me. And she said, who's this guy over here all around your house? Because Swami's pictures are there. I said, well, he's God to me, and he's the one I'm telling you. And then I told her a story about my son's eyes, which I may tell one day, so I don't want to give that out right now. So I gave her that entire story. It's a long story. I said, he heals people. It's an incredible thing. So keep this with you. And even when I give it to you, it's probably him wanting you to have it. I went far enough to tell her that. She said, sure. So then she comes to this temple room where I am right now. And I told her not to touch up in this temple room because there was no touch up needed. So she said, I don't know. I peeped into this room and I felt when I looked at this guy and this chair, I thought I'll just do it here too. I said, okay. So she touched up there, Swami, and she's right in front of Swami's chair. So she was touching up right over here, right in front of his chair here. So he wanted her, beside him. And I thought inside, when she was about to leave, I thought to myself, I hope I didn't force this upon her. See how much ego I had, how much responsibility I was taking upon myself. Even though Swami told me to take it, give it to her, I'm still thinking inside, I gave it to her. So that's why I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I wish I didn't force it. Now, if I really believed inside and had to do this, I would not say that out. So I realized my ego had come up. I said, oh my gosh, after Swami telling me to give it to her, I'm thinking this nonsense. Later, what happens is, as she's leaving, she comes to me and she says the most incredible thing. She said, can I take this holy ash and keep it for my daughter? Because I feel it'll help her a lot too. And that shocked me because I till that time thought, that she had taken it, but I had forced something upon her. But I didn't realize how important this vibhuti was for her. So she said, I'll just take a little bit for my delivery time, but the rest of it, I want to give it to my daughter as she grows up. I want to keep this thing precious for me. And then 2 weeks later, I came to know she did have difficulties in the delivery, but it became okay. And she had taken the holy ash. So see, this is an experience where you're not in Pathi, you don't have interviews, you don't have Pada Namaskars, but he's reached her. That's the most incredible part about Swami. When he has to reach you and give you grace, whether you know him or not, whether you've prayed to him or not, he will come to you.
So as you mentioned regarding the vibhuti, you said you felt that it was you giving. So how do you actually reduce the I which you feel that it was you? Then you start realizing that.
Because I realize, see, for me, because I told you I'm in this, I've been in this lockdown for 28 years. It's called communion with God lockdown, what I call it. I go through my mind a lot. And I constantly reflect on what I think. I don't like the slightest thought that moves away from truth.
Yeah.
I like to follow truth very closely. And so I know when I have deviated. I may have not deviated 100% from the truth, but I know when I have deviated 15-20% from the truth.
Okay.
And like I said, I don't like myself and respect myself when I do that, because I understand that I have taken God aside and I have made my I a mini God.
How you can devote so much of your conscious being for Baba in this moving materialistic world? I mean, it's not with that distractions, having distractions in life, and how you actually devote that.
I offer everything from the beginning, from the time I get up in the morning. I talk to him aloud. I say, okay, Swami, should I drink tea or not today? No, will be the answer from inside. Okay, I'm going to make lunch now. Should I make this?
You consult him, like bringing.
I talk to him. If you see me, it's like I'm a nutcase all the time inside. I talk to God constantly. I tell him, okay, even if I'm cooking, I'll ask him the masalas or what to put. I'll say, okay, should I put this much haldi or should I put this much? Should I put this much coriander powder or that much? Should I do this? Should I go to the bank now or should I go bank later? Should I? For everything he'll say, no, 3:30 go to the bank. The teller won't be there at that time. So at every second, the conversation with God is constant. So I know when I'm doing things without conversing with him, because I'm doing this on my own. Suppose I'll say, I'm going to the bank at 1 o'clock today. Swami said at 3 o'clock. I know I'm taking things in my own hands, because I know that deeply inside, the indweller from inside of me told me go at 3:30. And I'll go to the bank and there'll be some problem at 1 o'clock if I do that. So I have and you know what? You come to a point, we are all dependent on each other, right?
Yeah.
And when God is telling you, be dependent on me, and I'll tell you every small thing that you have to do, then why not? Because then those days when I can follow that 100%, I have zero stress. But if I don't follow that even 5 to 10%, I'm not used to having thoughts in my mind. I'll get thoughts in my mind and I feel restless. So from such a long time, I can catch restlessness inside of me very quickly. I'll know the slightest when my vibration is not right.
So it becomes a routine for you. It becomes a routine for you, like speaking to Swami that I have to do.
It's happened for 28 years. I have done this. He is the person I say good morning to before I tell my husband and my children. I say, okay, Swami, I'm up. I'm going to go brush now. Okay, sometimes he'll say, no, don't go brush. That paper is there outside. You go and do that garbage day today. Go throw the garbage outside and come back. Then you brush. He's going to come at 9.
Okay.
That's my life.
But since you are in lockdown, you said for 28 years, what about those people who have to face the world and then,
Same thing do. Start with the most ordinary task. You don't have to be an extraordinary person. You have to be the most ordinary person with God. That's when he loves you the most. Be the simplest person with God. You don't have to say, oh my gosh, now I'm the chairperson of the Satya Sai Center of this. Who cares? Who cares about that name? Do you think Swami cares about that? Swami cares about the most ordinary devotees that have come. Those that don't have water, those that don't have food. He's counting on you and me that have everything in life to go and help that. In order to help that, we sometimes go and help that, but we are haughty when we are doing it. We are aware we are helping people. We feel that there is a difference, a demarcation. Okay, I've gone to help now. Now I've come back. Now I've gone to help. Now I'm back in my house. Now I can do this. No, Baba says, no, help must be spontaneous. It should be that I'm going for a service project on Sunday from 6 to 8. Swami said, what is that? What you're sitting and counting? He will tell you. If you tell him, Swami, there are people who have told that. Swami, our center is doing this service project. He says, very happy. Are you happy? Because he wants to know the essence of your being.
Your being.
Yeah, Swami is very particular on centers. Centers have to be run, Swami says, knowing every time you enter a center, you must know that Swami is really sitting. Putting a chair for him and putting his photograph and talking. I have seen where people talk and complain about each other right in front of his picture. This is Sairam. After bhajans, I'll talk to you. So what was that picture over there? Eh?
Yeah.
What was that? You're basically saying, oh, he's my God, but he's not present right now. He passed away on in April of 2011. He's not there anymore in the body, but then he was there. The day Swami, I have not even come with the terms that Swami has left the body, because for me, I don't know the difference between the two. But on Thursday, this is on Sunday, correct? Easter Sunday. So on Thursday, I was vacuuming my house at 10 a.m. in the morning. And his chair, he came and he sat on the chair and he said, I'm going to be leaving. He said, I have to go and take care of the government above. He said, there is a big government. I'm the head of that government. It's time for me to leave. I was thinking, I said, no, Swami, you're not that sick. You still have 96 years. That thing was so much inside me, 96. He said, no, get the children prepared. When they come back from school today, get the children prepared. This was on Thursday, even before the Sunday that it was announced. And so Thursday, when the kids came back from school, I explained to them, I said, I don't know. I didn't want to, because they are very attached to Swami. I don't know if Swami is going to make it in the body, but we have to keep praying. Swami can do anything. But I had to give them a little bit, so that they don't collapse, because it was a hard time for everybody. And even when that happened, I had got a phone call from Mr. Ted Henry actually at 1:30 in the morning. I had his gown that he has given me. It's over here. And I was feeling uncomfortable. I was feeling very uncomfortable at 10 p.m. And I didn't know that it had already begun to occur over there. And I took his gown that night, took his arms off the gown, put it on either side of my shoulder and slept with the gown. When I got that phone call at 1:30 early in the morning, when Ted Henry called me and said, Swami has left the body. And I didn't know how to react. And Swami said, go, you have to go and write a message down. And I'm going to give you a message. You go write that first. There is no mourning needed. I have not gone anywhere. He said, just a transition. The devotees have to realize it's just a transition. I will be more with them than even before. And so I went downstairs with my husband, wrote down the message, sent it out, and then went to tell my kids. But all through those years, even till now, it's, when the individual is very active in you constantly, what I miss is going to Parthi and having that togetherness with the children, seeing the children's reaction with him.
Yeah.
That's what I miss, because they are not able to do this. But, for me, it has not been much of a change from 2011 to now. It really hasn't. The only thing is my trips to Parthi have changed in a way where you see a chair there.
We do miss his physical form, actually.
Don't miss it. He's standing probably right beside you right now, you're sitting on his lap. Don't miss the one that is in every atom of your being. You can't miss that one. When you say, I miss him, you're saying, you're denying his presence in you and around you. Start with that. When you're telling me, how do we start? Start with not denying his presence. Accept, know for sure, have full faith that he is with you. Then your journey will begin beautifully. Then all these truths that he is left with us, they will come to you really truthfully from inside. You will not read a book. Reading a book, I have read a book when I was 17, 18. I used to read books. They used to go over here and just come out from the other end. I said, oh, good, nice book, great. Nice teachings, this is beautiful. But next minute, am I practicing? Zero. Okay. That belonged to the book and I was free. But when you realize God is within you at all times and you are answerable to him inside your heart, that's when your life will begin changing. Your life doesn't become changing by going to different pilgrimages. No, it doesn't change if you're doing bhajans and learning mantras and you're learning Vedas. Those are fantastic things to do. But the simplest thing to do is to accept God inside of your heart. First, you start with that. You tell yourself, no, I can't fear. God is inside of me. No, I cannot doubt this. God is inside. I can't get angry. God, I have to feed God. You have to keep talking it out. You have to be very strict on yourself. You are your own teacher. You are going to transform yourself. God is not going to come and put a magic wand around you and say, transform. Okay, 10 bhajans done, 3 Vedas learned, you're transformed. No, that doesn't happen. Transformation occurs because one has taken the responsibility not to change. You're not changing yourself. You're taking out all the things that are not a part of you.
When Swami says, whoever my eyes are set on, I will transform that person. Swami always says that. So you said we transform ourselves.
Yes, you always transform yourself, but Swami is saying, my eyes, you're looking only at the physical form. Why are you only looking at the physical form, the Parthi form? Yes, it's beautiful to go to Parthi form. Even there he takes you through miracles. Yes, I've had so many myself. But what is my biggest miracle, Simran? If you tell me, it's my day-to-day life. It's my day-to-day life with God that is my biggest miracle. My every second with God, that is the biggest miracle. It's hard for people. People doubt life because they don't practice it. They say, nah, she can be talking to God. She'll be imagining. How can it be like that? So what have you done by that is you have denied the possibility of you rising to that level of consciousness. Are we the body? Do you think when we pass away that we have passed away? No. Our energy remains constantly. So who are we? Find out who am I. Then you will know who is God. Once you know who is God, you will love yourself because God is within you. You won't love any temple and murti and statue and you won't run about these things. You say, oh my gosh, it's me. It's God is within me. I have to love myself. I am loving him in myself. That realization has to come to you, from which, like I said, if you read a book in October and give a test in May, you're going to fail. It's only when you have practiced every day of the book, you have given yourself tests, you have passed those tests. Some of those tests you have failed badly, and then you have learned what you did wrong from the test. Don't we do that as students? Yeah. We all did that as students. How did we go through college? So if we had that much strength to do that through college, why not do it with God? Why are we saying God is giving us the difficulties and the tests? No, we are making choices. Those choices are giving us tests. They are giving us difficulties. They're giving us uncertainty. Then we blame God and say, oh, he's supposed to save. He never saved. But what choice did you make? Did you make a good choice? It will always come back to your choice. When your choice is wrong, then there will be difficulty. It will be followed by difficulty. When your choice is right, sometimes there may be still difficulty, but your inner strength is so strong that you don't see the difficulty as difficulty. You'll say, oh wow, so you'll still look at the positive. You'll say, Swami, I got 20% done. 80% couldn't be done, but wow, this 20% was done beautifully because you are with me. Your way of thinking will be like that. But if you're making wrong choices, Your thinking will be different. You'll say, "Look, Swami, only 20% has been done. 80% wasn't done. This is useless. These people are not even helping me. They are so horrible. I have to do all the work. They are like this. So what do you think God is going to respond from inside from you when you're talking to him all the time? He's going to be mum. Why? Because he wants you to get to the process of realization of what you're doing to your own self. We taint ourselves by the choices we make, by the thoughts we think, and by the actions we follow with the thoughts. If you catch your thought right over here, always knowing that the indweller inside of you, you have all this knowledge. Do you know the Vedas that proclaim all the Vedas are within each one of us? All the truths are already declared. Why we love them? Because once in a while when we read them, we say, wow, this is beautiful. I love this. I wish I could be this. And when I tell Swami that, I wish I could be this, he said, remove the wish. You are this. What are you desiring? You're desiring to be yourself. How can that? That itself is delusionary, right? You already are yourself. You're wishing to be somebody other than yourself. When you wish to be somebody other than yourself, that's why difficulties and wrong things come, because you're not making the wrong choice. You're making the wrong choices and not the right choices. Your right choices are already inside of you. It's not that you're confused. You're not confused. You're not listening. You're not paying attention. Self-awareness. Self-awareness has to be practiced at every second. Self-awareness takes you to grace of God.
So it requires consistency and discipline, self-discipline.
Discipline is a harsh term. When you say discipline, then you don't want to do it. I love my indweller so much, that's why I'm going to do it. Do you say, I gave my mother food today because that's my duty and I'm disciplined to do it? Right? You won't say that, right? But if it's an outsider or somebody you don't like, you said, I gave this person 2 days worth of food, you'll be telling everybody. Why? Because it's not coming from inside of you.
Yeah.
When things come from inside of you, it's not discipline anymore. It's love. And God is love. It becomes only discipline because things are coming from outside of you. You're looking at everybody as an outsider. You're not taking everybody as that indweller in yourself. So everybody is God. It's not that only you and I have the indweller. The one who shouts at you, the one who's doing the worst things with you has the indweller. You have to think that. You have to realize that, and you have to say, should I feed my indweller or get back at this person? And that's how it'll hurt. The ego will really give you, but you have to tell, my Swami used to tell me, tell the ego to quiet. Don't talk to me anymore. I talk to sometimes my mind like that. If it is repeating itself, I'll say, don't talk to me anymore. I'm not talking to you. You're not in the right way of thinking right now. Be silent. I'll put on some things. I'll put on some talk. I'll put on something in order for it to remain silent. You have to distract the mind. You have to tell the mind, I'm not paying you attention. It's like a little kid, right? Who's demanding something. I'm not going to pay attention to you. But the little kid, after some time, realizes, oh my gosh, I'll just go sit by my mom. Because how much can they do? No, I want. Okay. A kid can only do I want so much. After some time, they'll go and put their head on their mommy's lap and say, I love you. That's what the mind will do to you. You let that mind throw a tantrum. Let it throw a tantrum. Let it say, I want. Don't pay attention to it. You say, God, Sairam. Do all tasks that involve him. In the end, your mind will come and say, okay, what do you want me to do? What should I do? Tell me. You taught that child not to throw a tantrum. Let me see if there's anything else. How much time do I have right now?
Okay, I think it's 10:30. Maybe we can go for some questions. Or another question I wanted to ask you, Sister Seema, you said you go to the sari store and then when you go to Parthi, you are dressed with your sari. What Swami has to say about that for women?
Swami loves it. Swami loves when he said you should look happy. You should look like your husband has kept you happy. That's what he told me in the interview. You should come. He said it doesn't matter what age you're at. You should look nice. When you're married and a householder, your first duty is to be attractive to your husband and love. Your love towards your husband should be number one. You should be decent in your way of dressing. You're an Indian, you should behave like an Indian. It doesn't matter if you go to the United States or you go anywhere else. When you come back to me, you should dress nicely. He said, in fact, there was one time, he had called me in the morning for an interview. there is a little bit of humor to this, so I'll say this and then come back to that. And he said, I'll call you in the evening. I'll call you tomorrow morning, he said. I will call you tomorrow morning. And he told me the strangest thing. He said, come with your family at 7 o'clock and sit in the veranda. And I'll come at 7:30 and take you for the interview. So I said, Swami, the volunteers won't like, I cannot just come and sit. Should I go to Mrs. Shauri and ask? No. You just go and sit in the veranda. And my mind was saying, volunteers will say, what is this? You have just come and said, are you sure, Swami? I'm telling him throughout are you sure, Swami? I said, Swami, your volunteers. Yeah, but who am I? He told me that. And who am I? I said, you're God, Swami. He said, then, okay. So I went home that day in the afternoon. I don't know, I was not feeling well in the afternoon. There was a virus going on over there and I started getting an itch in my throat and not feeling well. So I thought to myself, Swami is calling us tomorrow in the morning. Why should I now? Today I'll just take rest. So I went to sleep and he came in my dream and he said, come now. So there was another lady who used to travel with me. She was a very good friend to me and a grandmother to the children. I woke her up. Her name was Sharda Auntie. I told her, Auntie, get up. Swami has come in my dream. He's told me to come. I said, okay. Now that was the first time I think I went in darshan in a salwar kameez. Because I thought tomorrow is the interview. I'm going to sit at the back. He just called me. I don't know why he's called. He wants me to come. Maybe I'll feel better. As I go and I sit down there, they said, hey, Swami is looking for your husband. He's been asking for your husband and he's calling you. And I had worn a sari. He used to always say, come to me in a nice sari. You should wear nicely a sari. So I thought to myself, Om Sairam, I'm saying, Swami, please don't call tomorrow because I had taken out the sari and everything to come for the next day. Swami, you can't change your mind like that. I know you're God, but you can change your mind. My husband comes straight, Brother Pushti goes to him. Next thing, we are called. And he's standing outside the interview room and he looks at me from top to bottom. Like, what are you wearing? Literally in his eyes. And I'm putting this way to my dupatta and this way. I was feeling so odd. So that was my only. So when you say how particular he is about a sari, he's very particular about a sari. He's very particular about the way you wear your sari. He's very particular how you carry yourself. He's very particular how you interact with people. He likes the silence. He doesn't like too much talking when you're in Parthi. He will come and tell you, you're sitting and now you're talking to everybody. He doesn't like that. He always says, he says, when I come, I give you so many positive vibrations and you're losing all of this you lose in 1 second by talking unnecessarily to each other. So that's the lesson for all of us,
Thank you. So Seema, how do you want to go to the questions? We have some questions, Ken?
Sure.
Okay. With Swami not being there in the physical form, how can the Sai young adults develop the faith and do Swami's work when some of them have not seen Swami as well?
Okay, that's a very nice question. To me, Swami is not only the physical form. Swami, like I told you, has left the treasure of so many discourses. To know Swami is especially when he's giving me so many messages on a daily basis, he is more the word of God, Swami's word is Swami himself. So I would tell them, read a lot of Satya Sai Speaks to know who Swami really is and what he expects them to be and how they want to be, how they should be. That's number one. Secondly, do a lot of service projects. That will help them a lot. And one more thing I would really advise young adults to, young adults should take this very seriously, knowing that when they go to a center, that center, Swami is present at that time. So they should conduct themselves with a great amount of respect, knowing that no unnecessary talking. One more thing Swami doesn't like is after the bhajans are over, the young adults have a habit of going out for dinners and making it a social event. That Swami doesn't like at all. To get to know Swami, you have to be completely understanding what Swami's mission is and how Swami himself lived being an example. Swami himself was an example of love. He was an example of truth. He was an example of doing things right. and he was always in bliss and peaceful. So the young adults should take that exemplary life to be their own life and follow it very staunchly when they're going to centers, because they are the ones that are going to be leading the next generation.
So I have another question. Thank you, Sister Seema. Another question is, many people experience miracles in life, and many of us listen to see that and believe in him. But when a moment comes and that miracle is needed, it doesn't happen. While around us, the miracle is happening. It makes us feel abandoned, lonely, unfair. So how do we be with it and go through it?
You have to take, like I told you, when life has its ups, the balance of the home is it has its down. There is no home. You go to any home in the entire universe and ask them if they have not had the downs. Take, for example, Mr. Kasturi's life. Okay, Mr. Kasturi himself was literally in the physical lap of Swami, sitting by Swami every day, and went through a lot of difficulties. Now, these difficulties are for us to realize that time never stays still. There is always certainty and uncertainty in life. And what we call losing something or gaining something are all transitory. As you lose something, Swami says the next day you will have something good that will happen. So it's always, we are always riding this up and down in life. And we have to learn to ride this up and down in life. Learning to ride this up and down in life is itself a miracle. The greatest of all miracles is to be able to understand that, tell me, whose mother and father lives forever? Whose husband and wife lives forever, okay? Whose children never have difficulties? That's there in every home, okay? So those difficulties, Swami says, you have to be able to, taking his namam, realizing that there will be another sunlight, another day, where you will be able to overcome this, and you'll be able to see something beyond where you grew. Like I told you, I always felt in difficulties, I grew as a person. And then the next day, when the sunlight came back and life was normal again, I said, thank you, Swami. But when the difficulties came, he taught me one more thing. He also taught me to say, thank you, Swami. He said, because when you learn to be grateful to God, even during times of difficulties, that is when your inner wisdom rises even more. You rise as a person even more. You've come in life not to have a perfect life. We have not come here to have a perfect life. We have come here to be able to realize God and merge with him. And to realize God and merge with him, we have to realize that we are with God, not so that everything goes smoothly, but however we are riding the wave, we are holding his hand. That's the key part. That's the miracle of all miracles. If you are able to hold God's hand, going through the waves up and down, you're going through a miracle in life.
Thank you. So Seema, one question which is from me. Okay, you're so constantly connected to Baba. So what has Baba told you to pass on the message today to all of us for today?
Exactly what I started with when I started in the beginning. I'll tell you the mantras. Let me read these Baba's mantras. This is the beautiful message that I want to give each one, because these are the mantras given to me by Bhagwan, and so I want to share this with each one of you. Hold on a second. Let me share the mantras with you. So this is my message to each one of you today from Swami. Okay. You can write these down if you want, because these are written down for me and I go through these in my life day to day. Whenever I fail, I go back to my mantras. Don't plan, don't worry. Offer your plans to God, do your best, see the direction he takes you. That's very key. So sometimes we may plan and we may think that our direction is good, but remember one thing, Swami's direction is much better in the end from what we think it's going to be. My most important mantra, which I've told you from the beginning, I am with you, in you, around you, always with you. Repeat that to yourself several times a day. Okay, keep saying, you are in me, you are with me, you are around me. As your heart beats hard, as you're doing something difficult, you are in me, you're with me, you're around me. Start taking the doubts out. Keep repeating that. Keep repeating that. until you'll start feeling a calmness. You'll start feeling a presence inside of you. You'll start feeling a peace. Like, oh, what am I worrying about? He's there. He said it. Come on. At this point, if I doubt it, why is the need of an altar and why do I call him a guru? It's not. It's needless. And these are his declarations. It's not something. It's something that he has not told people specifically in interviews. It's been told in discourses all the time. So he's told this to every devotee. Use this. Make this your food, literally. Then Swami said, I'm telling you whatever Swami told me. And so the next thing he told me is be happy. Baba said, if you want to, okay, so if you want me to, if you want me to be happy, you have to be happy. Your happiness is my food. Okay. So that is also a very important thing. Then the next thing is wait. He used to say that even in darshan time. Wait. People thought it was for Pada Namaskar or for an interview. No. Wait. Be patient and don't be in a rush. Swami always says, never be in a hurry. Because he used to always tell me, what I can see, you cannot see. I have 1,000 eyes. He used to tell me, I have 1,000 eyes. So remember that. We are seeing with 2 eyes. He has 1,000 eyes. So give that to Swami. Okay? Give that faith to Swami. He's telling you, give me all your troubles. Surrender to me. And we're saying, no, I don't know if you can. We are denying it. Then the next one is silence is God. Don't act and react in haste. Reflect. Silence is reflection. It is self-reflection. So that's also very powerful. Silence is God. Don't act and react in haste, because it leads to repentance. Reflect in your mind before you're going to do something that's going to be in haste. Whenever your mind is telling you to be hasty, there's going to be a problem. Reflect. Silence is reflection. Self-reflection, he says. Self-reflection. So, self-reflect. Am I doing the right? Not if somebody else is doing the right thing. Am I speaking the same right way? Not if someone is speaking the right way. Am I going to be doing the right thing? Not someone else is going to be doing the right thing. Self-reflection. Constant self-reflection brings self-awareness. Okay? Self-awareness brings self-confidence. So, self-confidence brings self-inspiration, right? So these are they all go together. So start with that. Then he says, duty done from your heart will take you to God. So when he says discipline, he doesn't mean that at 8 o'clock give milk to your husband, at 9:30 do that. Not that. The discipline means how much your mind is disciplined to love when you're doing the duty. Not doing a timely duty. Okay, I gave those medicines on time, so I did my duty, but there was no love in it. What is duty? Duty done from your heart. Duty is duty is God's work. When you have chosen a certain way of life, and with that certain way of life, you have got duty, you are serving God at every point. Know that. And that has to be done not with the discipline of time, but the discipline of maintaining your mind completely immersed in love. Then he says, when you love without expectation, you have fed my soul. That is so beautiful. When you have loved without expectation, you have fed my soul. So, you say, why should I? I'm giving you the answer today, because you're going to feed Swami inside of you. You're going to give him the food. Then he also said, in difficult times, you receive the highest wisdom. I spoke to you about that. In happier times, you learn the power of gratitude. That was another beautiful thing that happened to me in 2008. He was passing me and he mouthed to me softly, thank you. So I was like shocked. I was like, thank you. Then I realized, oh my gosh, I have to thank him every day. Every day when he passes, I should take the opportunity to thank him. I don't know, how much opportunity I'm going to have to thank him. So for my 2008 trip, he would pass me and my hands used to be joined and I would mouth, thank you. And he would mouth back to me. He would mouth back the same thing, showing me, I am you and you are me, to each one. Gratitude, when you are grateful to God, you get a sense of peace. In happier times, don't forget God. That thank you, Baba, thank you, Baba, thank you, Baba, thank you, Baba. You're going to create so many positive vibrations inside of you and around you for your family. There will be grace, grace, grace. Why? Because that thank you has so much power. God, that is God's food. He says, that's my food. You're feeding me every time. So feeding God constantly. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you. And that's become my habit. I'll keep every small thing. I'll say, oh, thank you, God. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Baba. Thank you. It could be the smallest thing. It becomes your nature more than your habit. Watch your mind, watch your actions and reactions, watch your mistakes. That's very important. Mind and actions and reactions I spoke to you about, but watch your mistakes is very important, because Baba told me, mistake is when you do it once. He said, that's mistake. When you do it again and again, it's habit. You can't say, Swami, I made a mistake. The same mistake. I'm getting angry, Swami. It's a mistake. Mistake, Swami. Swami said, no, it's not a mistake. It's your habit. You have to break it. Correct? And then the next thing is watch your temper. Watch your expectations. So Swami said, when you have expectations of people, you tend to lose temper. So when you don't have expectations, when you rely on God completely, you'll have no expectations. When you have no expectations, you're at peace. When you're at peace, there is no point. What are you going to lose temper? You won't even want to lose temper, because most of us don't like ourselves when we lose temper. Though that's a mistake we make over and over and over again. Watch your understanding, watch your jealousy, watch your desires. That's Swami has said in every. Watch your fears, watch your greed. So basically self-awareness, self-awareness, self-awareness. Say, why am I thinking like that? Why am I being fearful? What am I greedy about? Why am I feeling jealous? God has given me everything. Why am I feeling jealous? Jealousy, temper and jealousy go hand in hand. These two things must be there. Don't pay attention to them. Okay? When you have God in your heart, that is the greatest wealth, right? Why look at someone else's life? Why look at what is there in someone else's plate? And think about it. By being jealous, will you actually take away from that person what that person has? Not really. You're taking away your own peace for sure. Okay? You're taking away your family and your loved one's peace for sure. But you're not, that person is protected by Bhagavan, who you're jealous about. So it's so useless to want what someone else has. Concentrate. Swami said, imagine the one whose plate is in front of him and he never eats but looks at the plates always around. What did you eat? What did you get? Okay? And his plate is always taken away. He's never eating. He's never full. He's always hungry. Right? So that leads to jealousy. Swami said, look at your own plate. See what you have. Now, this is very beautiful. He says, know yourself, be yourself, transform yourself. Baba used to always say, transforming yourself is your duty, not anybody else's duty. Okay? And there should be no time limit on transformation. You cannot say, I was so good for this whole week. Look at your attitude. Did you change a little bit? So we said, are you transforming for that person? You're transforming for your own self. You're transforming because you respect your own self. You have self-respect. You like your own self. How many of us can say we like ourselves 100% at all times? Right? If we were right now in a group, right? And I'm sitting in a group, how many hands would be up right now? Right? Very few. Because most of us don't like ourselves, don't like the things we do, and hence don't like others, don't like what they do. We concentrate more on them because we feel others make us bad. You are making me bad. Okay. There are just two more. Yeah, he said to me also, say, I am God, I am God, I am God. That should help each and every time. Why you have to remind yourself you're God? Not because, oh my gosh, God is somewhere in the heavens, he's far above. How dare I have no humility in order to call myself God? No. Swami said, if you don't call yourself God, how will you remind yourself to be God-like? Correct?
One more question. My other question is, people are not in the habit of watching discourses or reading Swami's literature to gain knowledge of the different aspects of Swami. How can we as a center or as a group, build that understanding of various aspects of Swami and see Swami in everything.
Oh, that's beautiful. Start right at home. That's what Swami's message was to me. With your own husband or wife, with your own children. Everything starts at home. All these practices of being tolerant, loving, selfless, kind, all this starts at home. So you start first at home. Then Swami said, go to your neighbor, hello, hello, and do to your neighbor. And then you go to your community. Then you go to the country. And then you go to the world. Okay. So it starts, it doesn't, don't call it small. Don't say, oh, I'm just doing it at home. How meaningless is my life? I need to go and serve 10,000 people. Then I've done something in life. No. You have to watch yourself and how you are with every self. That's this with you. Watch yourself. Watch your mind. Watch how you think. Watch how you speak. Watch how your people in your house are thinking and speaking. See how you can help them. How you can help them. Can you just say, oh, pick up a Satya Sai speaks, look what Swami is telling? No, you have to be exemplary. So once you start that atmosphere in the house, Swami said it goes outside. It has to start with self. Then go to the ones that you have your duty towards. Then you go slowly to your community, neighbor, community, country, world. But what happens is we aspire to go to the world first. We say, okay, let's go and make a change in the world. The young adults say, yes, let's do it. But is there a change in you? Does the change come in you while you serve in the world? No, you have to change yourself first. You have to have the discipline of thinking right. Otherwise, how will you serve someone else? How can you take the responsibility of loving someone else when you cannot take the responsibility of loving your own self? Loving your true self is your first duty in life. That is Swami, the indweller. That's your true self. My message to them is, if you don't have Satya Sai Speaks, start with values. Swami always started with value-based teaching. Go through, if you don't have time to read, you know what is good and bad. You know what is right and wrong. There is nobody that says, oh, I beat this one up and I didn't know it was wrong. Nobody knows. Everybody knows it's wrong. Okay, it comes from your heart inside. So there is no confusion about that. Go in your heart and see how many right things do you do a day. How many right things do you speak a day? Make a diary of it. How many right thoughts do you have in a day? Then you write also how many mistakes, Swami used to say, you make in one day, right? Now, if you made a mistake on Monday, you better make sure when he's watching that that mistake is not occurring on Tuesday, because it's not a mistake anymore. So you have to watch yourself. Watch yourself. Watch yourself. That's all I can tell you. Watch yourself and remain self-inspired. You cannot ask someone else to inspire you. It comes from the self. Self-inspiration, that's what it's called. You cannot, if others inspire you, it will be for one day, 1 month, 2 months. You know what you're going to do after 2 months? You're not going to believe in that other person's inspiration. You'll be sick of it because you're failing at it. You're not being self-inspired. You're getting, so whatever I'm telling you right now, you may practice only for 2 months and you may fail. But if you find a connection in anything that I've spoken till now, if it connects with you somewhere, if one sentence in this hour and a half connected you somewhere, hold on to that sentence. Make that sentence your God, because it has connected inside of you. Okay, so you are going to do that then. Otherwise, it will be, oh, Seema Dewan said this, Seema Dewan said this, what nonsense she was talking. My situation is completely different. I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. So start with one. If one thing made sense to you, go to that and start, keeping a diary on your own self is very good. For the first few months, seeing how you are. Do you like yourself as a person? Answer that question. If you like yourself as a person in months to come, start observing yourself and then see where the changes need to be made. Once you know where the changes need to be made, go and find your source is already there. but find the source and resource that connects. What connects? Is it a best friend that is going to help you? Is it a book that is going to help you? Is it a speaker that is going to help you? Or is it God's books that are going to help you itself? See what source and resource are going to connect. Utilize that and start. If you have had 50 bad thoughts, see if you can reduce. And while you reduce, you'll start liking yourself. Liking yourself will take you back to the source inside. Because it's hard for you to realize how to get to the source. In order for you to get to the source, you have to like yourself. Because in the end, your source and you are one. But until you reach at a higher level of consciousness, you say, my God inside of me, my God inside of me, my Swami inside of me, my Shiva inside of me, my Durga inside of me, my Jesus inside of me, whatever you want to call it. Once you start feeling confident that you are in the path of being God-like, then your own source will give you beautiful pearls of wisdom. Beautiful pearls of wisdom.
Such a beautiful answer and very much to the point. I have a last question. Swami says an ABC of life is avoid bad company. How can we determine which is bad or to avoid being influenced for us being a college student?
Your first bad company that you have is right over here. Avoid that, okay? And remember one thing, if you have chosen a life to be with God, there is nobody in your life that is so important that you have to give up God's teachings in order to be with that person. Your first duty lies to giving that love to the Lord every single day. So if you have to excuse yourself kindly from that person, you have to excuse yourself. If you're not liked, if you're not popular, you'll have to take that. Because why? You're popular with him. Okay? My first popularity is with him. I don't care, even if my immediate siblings, my brother, my sister, anybody, whoever thinks whatever of me, it doesn't matter to me. Whether they understand me or not understand me. I have chosen a life with God. Yes, I'm close to them by body, by relationship. But does that mean that I owe them my choice of being with God? No. My choice with God is number one. And my relationship with God is eternal. That relationship, I can never stain in order to have a relationship with any friend or relative. If I have to give that up, if I have to lessen it, if I have to excuse myself from it, I will be bold to do that because I know that my love for God is so much that I would not want to lose him. I would rather lose anybody else rather than losing this peace that I have within myself. As you call God, realize God has come to you. Don't doubt his presence.
Come to me, oh come to me, oh come to me, my Lord. Come, 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 come to me, oh come to me, my Lord. Come, 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 come to me, oh, come to me, my Lord. In every life I shall say thy name, say thy name. Lord, say thy name. In every life I shall say thy name. I shall wait, I shall bear every folly's pain. For the Lord of the universe has come again to show me the way until the end. And no one and no one else can ever make me turn away from this God. So come to me, oh come to me, my Lord. Come, 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 come to me, oh come to me, my Lord. Come, 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 come to me, come to me, my Lord. Come, 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 come to me, oh, come to me, my Lord. I have asked alone for thyself this time. I shall stand and wait until you arrive. What can ever turn me away from you, when all I can think is you, you, you? I will sing, I will dance. I will sing, I will dance. Sing and dance for you, my Lord. I will sing, I will dance, and give this soul back to thy sweet, merciful heart. And no one else can ever make me turn away from this God. I will sing, I will dance, sing and dance for you, my Lord. I will sing, I will dance, and give this soul back to thy merciful heart. Come to me, oh come to me, oh come to me, my Lord.
Thank you, Sister Seema. Words aren't enough to express our gratitude for this overwhelming session. What an unforgettable experiences you had with Baba. Many of us here may not have those beautiful experiences with Bhagwan. So your sharing with us today has filled those gaps and desire. Every instance shared has touched our heart. It's indeed a privilege to have you, sis.
It's been a privilege
Terima
for me.
kasih, Sister Seema. Kata-kata tidak cukup untuk mengungkapkan rasa syukur kami atas sesi yang begitu bermakna ini. Pengalaman-pengalaman Anda bersama Bhagwan yang tak terlupakan. Banyak dari kita di sini yang tidak memiliki pengalaman-pengalaman indah tersebut bersama Bhagwan. Jadi yang Anda bagikan pada kami hari ini telah mengisi kekosongan dan keinginan tersebut. Benar-benar sebuah kehormatan dengan hadirnya Anda, Sis.
What we can carry back from today's session is that every moment with Baba is a miracle. His love for us is the love of 1,000 mothers put together, for which he always says, your happiness is my food. Thank you.
Sairam, thank you so much.
Apa yang bisa kami bawa bersama kami dari sesi hari ini adalah bahwa setiap saat bersama Baba adalah sebuah keajaiban. Cinta kasihnya bagi kita adalah cinta kasih dari ribuan ibu. Jadi keajaiban beliau atau mujizat beliau adalah makanan bagi kita semua. Sairam.
I would like to call upon someone to deliver, that is Auntie Indra Kalwani, SSGC Indonesia Mahila Wing. Auntie Indra, requesting you to give some few words.
Ya, sekarang kami akan memanggil Auntie Indra Kalwani untuk mengucapkan beberapa kata. Kami persilakan Auntie Indra.
Sairam, Sister Seema.
Sairam, Sister Indra.
Auntie?
Thank you for sharing your soul-stirring experiences and precious insights on the life of our beloved Swami. You truly are a divine instrument of Swami, empowered and blessed by him to share his message of love to all. Your book, Sai Darshan, is an immense source of inspiration and guidance for everyone. Thank you for keeping us internally connected with Swami through your divine sign messages. I am sure every heart today in the virtual meet has been touched and inspired by you in the most beautiful ways. Once again, thank you for sharing your precious time, your pure love and light with us. Sairam.
Thank you so much. This has been a privilege for me. Thank you so much. I appreciate being with you. When I speak, I feel the love of Bhagwan. When I share his love, I feel his love. So thank you for giving me that opportunity. Very, very much. Thank you, Sairam.
Auntie Indra, thank you so much. And thanks to our Mahila Zoom team, Sister Janki being the translator, Sister Lakshmi, Sister Amrita, Sister Pinky, and Bro Pravir, who work behind the curtain. And thanks to the general audience for joining us today. And thanks to all our seniors for the love and the support. Once again, Sister Seema, a big thanks to you. You have certainly recharged our batteries, and we hope that Swami allow you for a second session with us. And not only that, but I hope that I could see you physically in Jakarta so we can feel that electrifying love of Bhagwan through you.
Lots of love for all of you. Lots of love, and may Bhagwan bless each one of your families. Sairam.
Above all, I would like to pay our gratitude by saying a humble thank you to Baba. His grace and love have made the session successful. Thank you, Baba. And Jai Sairam to all brothers and sisters on behalf of the SSGC Indonesia Mahila team. Have a great day. Yes.
Terima kasih juga pada Sister Simran sebagai moderator kami hari ini. Juga kami ucapkan terima kasih pada semua yang telah bergabung bersama dengan kami hari ini. Dan yang terutama, dengan segala kerendahan hati, kami ingin menghaturkan rasa syukur dengan mengucapkan terima kasih pada Baba, rahmat dan kasih-Mu telah membuat sesi hari ini sukses. Terima kasih Baba. Dan atas nama dari tim Mahila SSGC Indonesia, kami mengucapkan Jai Sairam pada semua brothers and sisters yang hadir di sini.
Sister Seema, one photograph with the team, is it possible?
Yeah, sure. Sairam.